The message arrived at Galactic Unity Academy on a quiet morning. Every student received it on their communication devices at the same time. The words were simple, but they caused panic across the entire station. Class 3C will receive a new transfer student tomorrow. Species, human, planet of origin, Earth. In the cafeteria, a young named dropped his food tray. His small, fur-covered body began to shake. His large eyes grew even larger with fear. "A human," he whispered. "They're sending us a human." Beside him, a named moved slowly. His silicon body made soft, clicking sounds as he processed the information. "This must be a mistake," said. His voice was calm, but the lights inside his crystal form flickered with worry. "Humans come from a Class 9. They should not be in a school with us." The cafeteria filled with nervous voices. Students from dozens of different species talked over each other. Some were scared. Some were angry. A few were already planning to request transfers to different classes. Everyone knew about Earth. Every child in the galaxy learned about in their first year of school. These were planets so dangerous that most life forms could not survive on them for even one day. The gravity would crush their bones. The atmosphere would burn their lungs. The weather would destroy their bodies. Earth was one of the worst ever discovered. It had earthquakes that split the ground open. It had storms that threw lightning from the sky. It had waves of water taller than buildings. The planet was constantly trying to kill everything on it. And somehow, humans had not only survived there, they had become the dominant species. Instructor called an emergency meeting for Class 3C that afternoon. She was a seraph, tall and thin with skin that glowed softly with bioluminescent light. Her bones were hollow and light, like a bird's. She moved gracefully but carefully because her species was very fragile. "I understand your concerns," said to her students. Her voice was gentle but firm. "But the Academy has approved this transfer. The human student has passed all psychological tests. She is not dangerous." "Not dangerous." His voice was high with fear. "Humans are predators. They have forward-facing eyes. They eat the flesh of other creatures. They also have art and music and literature," interrupted. "They form strong emotional bonds. They care for their sick and elderly. They are more than just predators." But even as she said these words, felt her own fear growing inside her chest. She had studied humans in school, just like everyone else. She knew what they were capable of. A human could run for hours without stopping. A human could survive injuries that would kill most species. A human could lift objects many times their own weight. She did not sleep well that night. The next morning, Class 3C gathered in the gymnasium for their physical education class. No one was talking. Everyone was watching the door. The air felt heavy with tension. Then the door opened. Park walked into the room. She was 17 years old with black hair tied back in a simple ponytail. She wore the standard academy uniform, adjusted to fit her body. She stood at 165 centimeters tall, which was average for a human female. To the alien students, she looked enormous. Her body was solid and dense. Her muscles moved beneath her skin in ways that seemed unnatural. Her eyes faced forward like a predator watching prey. Her skin was opaque, hiding everything inside her body. The aliens could not see her organs or her blood flow. They could not tell what she was thinking or feeling. She was completely unreadable, and that made her terrifying. Looked around the gymnasium. She saw the fear on everyone's faces. Some students backed away from her. Others stood frozen, unable to move. A small in the front row looked like he might faint. She tried to smile, hopping to show that she was friendly. 23 students flinched at once. 3 actually did faint. Smile disappeared. She did not understand what she had done wrong. On Earth, smiling was a sign of friendship and warmth. But she had forgotten what her brother told her. To many alien species, showing teeth was a threat display. She had just shown a room full of prey animals. the weapons she used to tear apart food. "Oh no," whispered to herself. "I already made a mistake." Instructor moved forward quickly. Her long limbs carried her across the gymnasium floor like a dancer. "Class, this is Park. She will be joining us from Earth. Please make her feel welcome." No one moved, no one spoke. Bowed politely, keeping her mouth closed this time. "Hello," she said. Her voice was soft and she tried to make it as gentle as possible. "I am happy to meet all of you. I hope we can be friends." The word friends seemed to confuse the alien students even more. A predator wanted to be friends with them. What did that mean? Was it a trick? Was she planning to eat them later? The small found his courage, or perhaps his curiosity was stronger than his fear. "Why are you here?" he asked. His voice shook as he spoke. Why would a human come to this school? Thought about the question. She could give many answers. She could talk about her father's job with the Galactic Trade Commission. She could explain that the Academy had the best science programs in 3-star systems. She could mention that she wanted to learn about other cultures. But she decided to tell the simple truth. "I want to understand the galaxy," she said. "I want to meet new people. I want to learn things I could never learn on Earth." She paused and looked at the scared faces around her. "I know humans have a bad reputation. I know you are afraid of me. But I promise I will not hurt any of you. I just want to be a normal student." For a moment the room was silent. Then a student whose body was made of translucent gel moved forward. Unlike the others, she did not look afraid. She looked curious. Her gelatinous form shifted and wobbled as she came closer too. "Normal?" asked. "Can I ever be normal?" Did not know how to answer that question. Instructor clapped her hands together, the sound thin and delicate. "All right, class. Let us begin with some light warm-up exercises. Everyone find a space on the floor." As the students spread out across the gymnasium, took her place among them. She could feel their eyes on her. She could sense their fear like a physical weight in the air. She did not know it yet, but the warm-up exercises were about to make everything much, much worse. Instructor raised her thin arms above her head. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin pulsed gently as she demonstrated the first stretching exercise. "Follow my movements," she said to the class. "We will start with upper body flexibility." The alien student's their teacher stretched his small furry arms as high as they could go. His crystal body made soft grinding sounds as he rotated his joints, simply reshaped her gelatinous form into whatever position was needed. Watch them carefully. This was nothing like gym class on Earth. The movements were slow. The stretches were gentle. No one was sweating. No one was breathing hard. She followed along politely, copying the simple motions. But her human body was designed for much more intense activity. These stretches felt like nothing to her. When demonstrated a neck rotation, decided to do a proper stretch. She tilted her head to one side and then rolled it around in a full circle. As she did this, the vertebrae in her neck made a series of loud popping sounds. Crag, crag, crag. The sound echoed through the gymnasium like gunshots. Screamed, his high-pitched voice filled the entire room. She broke her own spine. Chaos erupted immediately. Students ran in all directions. Some tried to hide behind exercise equipment. Others pressed themselves against the walls. Moved faster than anyone had ever seen a move, his silicone legs carrying him toward the exit. Instructor's skin flashed bright red with alarm. She rushed toward her medical training taking over. "Do not move," she shouted. "I am calling the medical drones. Stay still." Stood frozen in place, completely confused. What's wrong?" "Your spine, we heard it breaking." My spine touched the back of her neck, then she understood. "Oh, no, I am fine, it was just my joints. Humans do this all the time, it is called cracking, it does not hurt." Stopped moving. Her bioluminescent skin slowly changed from red back to its normal soft blue. "You did that on purpose." "Yes, it feels good. It releases pressure in the joints. The alien students stared at her from their hiding spots around the gymnasium. They had just watched a creature deliberately make breaking sounds come from her own body and then claim it felt good. To them, this was horrifying. It was like watching someone tear off their own arm and say it was relaxing. "Humans are insane," whispered from behind an exercise mat. "Completely insane." Felt her face grow hot with embarrassment. She had not meant to scare anyone. She had just done something normal, something every human did without thinking. But here, in this place, normal human behavior was terrifying. Instructor took a deep breath to calm herself. Her species had 3 lungs and she used all of them. Let us continue," she said. Her voice was not quite steady. "We will move on to the endurance portion of today's class." The endurance test was simple. Students would walk around the gymnasium track until they felt tired. Explained that this was not a race. No one was trying to win. The goal was just to move at a comfortable pace and build basic fitness. On Earth, this would be considered a joke. Human children ran faster and farther in their playground games, but reminded herself that she was not on Earth. She needed to match the pace of her classmates. The walk began, set a gentle speed that everyone could follow. The alien students moved around the track slowly, their various bodies working in different ways, hopped along on his small legs, glided smoothly, his crystal form catching the light, flowed across the floor like a living puddle. Walked beside them. She kept her steps slow and careful. She tried not to get ahead of anyone. But human bodies are not designed for slow walking. They are designed for covering long distances at a steady pace. This is how ancient humans hunted. They did not chase their prey with speed. They followed it for hours and hours until it collapsed from exhaustion. This is called persistence hunting, and it made humans one of the most dangerous predators on Earth. After 10 minutes was still not tired. After 20 minutes, she felt like she had not exercised at all. Her heart rate had not even increased. Meanwhile, the alien students were slowing down, was breathing heavily. Internal lights were dimming as his energy faded. Evan's gel was becoming thinner and less stable. After 30 minutes, most of the class had stopped to rest. Only and a few others were still walking. After 45 minutes was the only one left on the track. She had completed the circuit 17 times. She was not tired. She was not sweating. She looked exactly the same as when she started. Instructor watched her with growing concern. "Park," she called out. "Are you feeling any fatigue?" "Stopped walking. Not really. Should I stop?" "Yes, please stop." Rejoined her classmates at the side of the gymnasium. They looked at her with a mixture of fear and disbelief. She had walked for 45 minutes without showing any sign of effort. To them, this was not normal. This was the behavior of a machine, not a living creature. Later that day, sat alone in the academy cafeteria. No one wanted to sit near her. Students from other classes had already heard about the spine-breaking incident and the endless walking. They kept their distance, whispering to each other as they watched her eat. Her communication device buzzed. It was a message from her older brother. He was 19 years old and had been studying at the academy for 2 years. He knew how difficult it was for humans here. "I heard what happened in gym class," his message said. "Are you okay?" Typed back, "I scared everyone. I didn't mean to. I just did normal things." "I know, it's hard. Human normal is alien terrifying." "What do I do?" There was a pause before his next message arrived. "Give them time. Show them who you really are, not what you can do, but who you are inside." Read his words several times. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to think that things would get better. But right now, sitting alone while everyone avoided her, it was hard to feel hopeful. A soft, wet sound made her look up. The student was approaching her table. Her gelatinous body wobbled with each movement, leaving a slight trail of moisture on the floor behind her. "May I sit here?" asked. blinked in surprise. You want to sit with me? Yes, I have questions. Settled into the seat across from her, gel body spreading slightly to fill the chair. About humans, about Earth, about you. You are not afraid of me. His form rippled, which would later learn was the way of laughing. Oh, I am very afraid, but I am also very curious, and my curiosity is stronger than my fear. For the first time since arriving at the academy, smiled. This time, she remembered to keep her teeth hidden. What do you want to know? She asked. Leaned forward, her translucent body glowing with interest. Is it true, she said slowly, that your species hunts by following prey until it dies of exhaustion? Paused. This was going to be a long conversation. 1 week had passed since arrived at Galactic Unity Academy. In that time, she had learned to move more slowly. She had learned to keep her mouth closed when she was happy. She had learned to look away when speaking to others because her forward-facing eyes made them uncomfortable. But today was assessment day, and there was no way to hide what she was. The academy required all students to complete physical assessments twice per year. These tests measured basic abilities like strength, speed, and endurance. The results helped teachers design appropriate exercise programs for each species. Stood in line with her classmates outside the testing grounds, was shaking with nervousness as usual, stood completely still, conserving energy, floated beside her gelatinous body occasionally brushing against his arm. Over the past week, had become something like a friend. She asked endless questions about Earth and humans, and she did not run away when answered honestly. The other students still kept their distance, but curiosity had opened a small door. What do you think the tests will be? Asked. I do not know, admitted. On Earth we test running, jumping, throwing, lifting, basic things. Those sound terrifying. Laughed softly. They are just measurements, numbers, nothing scary about numbers. But she was wrong. The numbers were about to become very scary indeed. The first test was grip strength. Students would squeeze a device that measured how much force their hands could produce. The device was designed for the average galactic citizen, with a maximum reading of 50 standard units. Went first. His small paws wrapped around the device and he squeezed with all his might. The number on the screen read 4. Went next. His crystal fingers closed around the device. The number read 7. Could not take this test because her body had no solid parts to grip with. She was excused. Then it was turn. She looked at the device. It seemed fragile in her hands, like it might break if she was not careful. She thought about her brother's advice. Do not show them what you can really do. She squeezed gently, very gently. She used maybe 10% of her actual strength. The number on the screen read 47. A warning message appeared. Structural damage imminent. Instructor stared at the screen. Then she stared at. Then she quietly marked score as classified and moved on to the next test. The second test was reaction time. A small light would fall from a holder, and students had to catch it before it hit the ground. The light would fall at random times, testing how quickly the body could respond to unexpected events. The average student caught the light in about 0.8 seconds, caught it in 0.9 seconds. Whose silicon body processed information slowly, caught it in 1.4 seconds. Stepped up to the testing station. The light dropped. She caught it in 0.15 seconds. The testing drone seemed confused. It released the light again, perhaps thinking there was an error. Caught it in 0.14 seconds. The drone released it 2 more times. Caught it both times before it fell more than a few centimeters. Instructor's skin had turned a pale, worried shade of purple. Your reflexes, she said slowly, are very predatory. Was not sure if this was meant to be a compliment. Thank you, she said. The third test was endurance. Students would run on a moving track until they could not run anymore. The machine would measure how long they lasted and how far they traveled. Lasted 4 minutes. His small legs simply could not carry him any further. Lasted 12 minutes, which was impressive for a silicon-based life form. His crystal body overheated and he had to stop. Started running. After 10 minutes she was fine. After 20 minutes she was still fine. After 30 minutes, instructor began to look concerned. After 45 minutes stopped the test. "Are you tired yet?" she asked. Considered the question honestly. Her heart rate had increased slightly. Her breathing was a little faster, but tired, not really. "I could keep going," she said. "Should I?" "No, please stop." The final test was called Controlled Fall Recovery. Students would fall backward from a standing position and try to return to their feet as quickly and safely as possible. This tested balance, coordination, and body awareness. Most students took several seconds to recover from a fall. Some needed help getting up. The test was designed to be challenging but safe. Took her position. She leaned backward and let herself fall. But falling is dangerous on Earth. Human reflexes do not allow the body to simply hit the ground and lie there. When a human falls, the body automatically protects itself. The arms reach out, the legs adjust, the core muscles tighten. Without thinking, his body tucked itself into a roll. She turned the fall into a smooth backward somersault and sprang back to her feet in one fluid motion. The whole thing took less than half a second. She stood there, perfectly balanced, wondering why everyone was staring at her. "What was that?" squeaked from across the room. "I just fell and got up." "That was a combat recovery maneuver." His crystal voice rang with alarm. "That was a military technique." Was confused. "No, that was just falling. Humans learn to fall safely when we are children. It is basic." But the damage was done. Word spread quickly through the academy. The human had demonstrated combat abilities during a simple falling test. She had predator reflexes. She had endless endurance. She had strength that could break testing equipment. That afternoon, administrator called a meeting. He was a species with 4 arms and a love of bureaucracy. He was also responsible for student safety. "We need to discuss the containment protocols," said to instructor. His 4 hands shuffled through documents as he spoke. Was waiting outside the office. She was not supposed to hear, but human ears are sensitive. She heard everything. Containment protocols. They were talking about containing her, like she was a dangerous animal that needed to be locked away. She left the administrative building without waiting for the meeting to end. She walked through the academy halls with her head down, ignoring the stares and whispers of other students. She went to her dormitory room and closed the door behind her. Then she called her brother. His face appeared on her communication screen. He was in his engineering workshop, surrounded by tools and half-built machines. When he saw her expression, his smile disappeared. "What happened?" "They look at me like I am a monster." His voice cracked. "I did not do anything wrong. I just took some tests, but now they want to contain me, like I am something that needs to be controlled." Was quiet for a moment. He understood her pain. He had experienced the same thing when he first arrived at the academy. Every human did. "You are not a monster," he said firmly. "You are just built different. Your body can do things that other species cannot. That does not make you bad. It makes you human." "Then why am I so alone?" "Because they do not know you yet. They only know what you can do. They have not learned who you are." Wiped her eyes. "How long does it take for them to see me?" "It takes time and patience, and moments where they realize that your strength is not a threat to them." He paused. "It took me almost a year, but eventually I made friends, real friends." After the call ended, sat in silence. She thought about giving up. She thought about asking her father to transfer her somewhere else, somewhere with other humans. Then her communication device buzzed. It was a message from I do not think you are a monster. Want to study together tomorrow. Read the message 3 times, such simple words, such ordinary kindness, but to her in that moment they meant everything. She typed back, yes, I would like that very much. Maybe her brother was right, maybe it would just take time. And sat together in the academy library. Soft light filtered through the transparent walls, showing the stars beyond. It was a quiet afternoon, and most students were in their dormitories or recreation areas. Had a data pad in front of her, filled with questions she wanted to ask. Over the past 2 weeks, these study sessions had become a regular thing. Would ask about Earth and humans, would try to answer without scaring her. It was harder than it sounded. Tell me about the weather on your planet, said. Her gelatinous body leaned forward with curiosity. Thought about how to explain this gently. Well, we have something called rain. It is when water falls from the sky. His entire body shuddered. Liquid water falling from above. Yes, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. That would dissolve my membrane. How do you survive such attacks? It is not an attack, it is just weather. Humans walk in rain all the time, some of us even enjoy it. Stared at her with what had learned to recognize as horror. Your planet tries to dissolve you with acid from the sky, and you enjoy it. Water is not acid. Our bodies are mostly made of water. You are made of the falling death liquid. Could not help but laugh. Every conversation went like this. Things that seemed completely normal to humans were terrifying to other species. Rain, snow, wind, gravity, everything about Earth was a horror story. But kept asking questions anyway. Her fear did not stop her curiosity. Their study sessions attracted attention. Other students began to notice that the human was not eating anyone. She was just sitting in the library talking quietly with the. She did not look dangerous. She looked normal. One day appeared at their table. His small furry body trembled slightly, but he did not run away. I have questions too, he said. His voice was barely above a whisper, about human-pack bonding. Smiled, remembering to keep her teeth hidden. What do you want to know? Climbed onto a chair and sat down carefully. Is it true that humans form emotional attachments to everything, not just other humans? Yes, we bond with animals, with plants, with objects. Humans can form emotional connections with almost anything. Even non-living things. Thought about this. My family had a cleaning robot on Earth, a machine that moved around the floor and removed dust. My mother named it Dust Buster 3000. When it stopped working after 7 years, my mother cried. We held a small ceremony before recycling it. And exchanged looks of complete confusion. You mourned a cleaning machine? Asked. It had been part of our family for 7 years. We talked to it. We thanked it for keeping our home clean. We felt sad when it was gone, shrugged. Humans are strange that way. We form attachments easily, even when it does not make logical sense. But you are apex predators, said slowly. You hunt and kill to survive. How can predators also have such soft emotions? This was the question struggled with most. How could she explain the contradiction that was humanity? They were killers and caregivers. They were dangerous and gentle. They could destroy worlds and also cry over broken machines. We are both things, she said finally. Humans are strong and soft at the same time. We protect what we love with all our strength, and we love many things. A new voice joined the conversation. She is telling the truth. Looked up to see another human standing nearby. He was older than her, maybe 18 or 19, with short dark hair and a calm expression. She recognized him from around the academy but had never spoken to him. I am, he said, third-year engineering student. I heard you were having some difficulties adjusting. Felt embarrassed. I am trying, it is not easy. Sat down at their table. Unlike, he moved slowly and carefully. His body language was relaxed and non-threatening. He seemed perfectly comfortable around the alien students. "I have been here for 3 years," he said. "I learned a few things that might help you." "Like what?" "Move slower than you want to. Speak softer than feels natural. When you smile, keep your mouth closed. When you make eye contact, look away after 2 seconds. Small changes that make a big difference." Frowned, "So I have to pretend to be something I am not." "No," shook his head. "You do not change who you are. You just give them time to see who you are. Right now, all they see they see the danger. They do not see the person." "When do they start seeing the person?" "When you show them, not through words but through actions, through small moments of kindness, through times when you use your strength to help, not to harm." Their conversation was interrupted by Professor, a serif historian who taught galactic species studies. She had been watching the group from across the library. "Park," she said, approaching their table, "I have an assignment for you." Straightened in her chair, "Yes, Professor." "Our class is doing research projects on different species and have been assigned to study humans." She gestured to the and the, who had been standing nervously nearby. "You will be their primary research source." Looked at and was shaking. His crystal form flickered with uncertainty. "They want to research me. They want to research humanity. You will help them understand your species beyond the classification." Professor's bioluminescent skin pulsed gently. "I believe this will be educational for everyone." Over the next few weeks and began their research project. They interviewed about human culture, history, and behavior. At first, they asked careful, scientific questions, but gradually their questions became more personal. Asked about human art, showed him paintings and sculptures from Earth. He was fascinated by how humans expressed emotions through color and shape. Asked about human children, showed him videos of human kids playing games, laughing, falling down, and getting back up. Watched with wide eyes as tiny humans climbed trees and jumped into water and ran through grass. "They are so small," whispered, "but they are not afraid of anything." "Human children are very brave," agreed, "and very foolish. They get hurt all the time, but they always try again." Asked about human stories, told her about books and movies and television shows. She explained how humans created fictional worlds and imaginary people, and how other humans would cry and laugh at stories that were not even real. "You feel emotions for things that do not exist?" asked. "All the time. Some of the saddest moments in my life came from fictional characters dying in stories." The alien students looked at each other in wonder. Humans were apex predators who could run for hours and break testing equipment with their bare hands. But they also cried for imaginary people and mourned cleaning robots. "You are contradictions," said one evening. His crystal voice was thoughtful. "You are the most dangerous species we have studied, but also the most emotional, predators who weep for others." Smiled her closed-mouth smile. "Yes," she said, "we are very strange, but I think that is what makes us human." The next morning, an announcement appeared on every student's communication device. The annual interclass athletics competition will begin in 2 weeks. All classes must submit their team rosters by end of day tomorrow. Class 3C had never won the competition, but this year they had something no other class had. They had a... The gymnasium was full of noise. Students from Class 3C argued about the athletics competition, their voices mixing together in a confused chorus. Everyone had an opinion, but no one could agree. "We should not ask her," said firmly. "It would be unfair to the other classes." "But we have never won," another student replied. "This is our chance." "She might hurt someone. Humans do not know their own strength." Stood in the corner, listening to them discuss her like she was not in the room. She understood their hesitation. She knew they were still afraid of her, but it still hurt to be talked about instead of talked to. Instructor raised her thin arms for silence. "The decision belongs to Park. She can choose whether to participate or not. Everyone turned to look at her, felt the weight of their stares. Some faces showed hope, others showed fear. A few showed something in between. "I want to help," said quietly, "but only if you actually want me on the team, not because I am useful, because I am your classmate." The room was silent, no one moved. Then flowed forward, her gelatinous body leaving a slight trail on the floor. "I want on the team," she said. "She is my friend." Hesitated, his small body trembled, but then he stepped forward too. "I want on the team. She has been kind to me even when I was afraid of her." Moved slowly toward them. "I want on the team. She helped me understand things I never knew about humanity. I trust her." One by one, other students joined them. It was not everyone. Some stayed back, still uncertain, but it was enough. Instructor's bioluminescent skin glowed warm with emotion. "Then it is decided. Park will compete for Class 3C." The next 2 weeks were filled with practice. The class trained together every day, preparing for the competition. The events included climbing, balancing, throwing, and the most important one, the endurance relay. The endurance relay was simple. Each team member would run until they were too tired to continue, then pass a marker to the next runner. The team that covered the most distance would win. Class 1A had won this event every year. They had 3 on their team, each with 4 arms and 4 legs. They were built for athletic performance. Class 3C decided to save for last. She would be their anchor, the final runner who would push them to victory. But first, they needed to learn to work together. During practice, something happened that changed everything. The class was practicing on a climbing structure. Students would scale the wall and ring a bell at the top, then climb back down. It was supposed to be safe. The structure had nets below to catch anyone who fell. But the nets were designed for light alien bodies, not for heavier species. Was halfway up the wall when his grip slipped. His small paws could not hold on. He fell backward, screaming. Was on the other side of the gymnasium. She saw fall. She did not think, she just ran. Her human body moved at full speed. Her legs pumped against the floor. Her arms reached out. She crossed the entire gymnasium in seconds and caught just before he hit the ground. The impact should have hurt her. Catching a falling body while running at full speed should have caused damage. But human bodies are designed to absorb shock. Her muscles and bones took the force without breaking. She stood there holding in her arms. He was trembling. His eyes were wide with shock. "Are you okay?" asked. Her voice was worried. "Did I hurt you?" Stared up at her. This was the human everyone was afraid of. This was the they thought might harm them. And she had just run faster than he could see to save his life. "You caught me," he whispered. "Of course I did. You are my classmate." Something shifted in the room. The other students had watched what happened. They had seen speed and strength. But they had also seen what she chose to do with it. She used it to protect them. Competition day arrived. The Academy Grand Stadium was filled with students and teachers from every class. Banners hung from the ceiling. Music played from speakers. The air buzzed with excitement and tension. Class 3C gathered in their assigned area. They wore matching uniforms with their class symbol. For the first time, felt like she truly belonged with them. The events began. Class 3C did well in climbing, thanks to his flexible body. They performed average in balancing. They struggled in throwing because most of their students were not built for physical power. Then came the endurance relay. Class 1A was confident. Their anchor had never been beaten. He stood at the starting area, all 4 of his legs ready to run. His 4 arms stretched with practiced ease. Class 3C sent their runners out one by one. Went first, covering as much ground as his silicon body could manage before overheating. Then came 3 other students, each pushing themselves to their limits. When the marker reached, Class 3C was in 3rd place. Class 1A was 200 meters ahead. The crowd expected them to win again, just like every other year. Took the marker and started running. She did not run at her full speed. That would have been cruel. These were students, not enemies. She was not trying to humiliate anyone. But she ran like a human. Her legs moved in a steady rhythm. Her breathing stayed even. Her heartbeat remained calm. This was the pace her ancestors had used to hunt across the African plains. This was persistence. This was endurance. The anchor was fast. His 4 legs carried him quickly around the track. He sprinted ahead, building his lead. But sprinting uses energy, and energy runs out. At the 1-kilometer mark, they began to slow down. His breathing grew heavy. His legs moved less smoothly. Kept running, same pace, same rhythm, no change. At the 1.5-kilometer mark, caught up to the... They ran side by side for a moment. He looked at her with confusion. How was she not tired? How was she still moving? At the 2-kilometer mark, past him. They tried to speed up, but his body refused. His muscles burned. His lungs screamed. Kept running. She was not even close to tired. She crossed the finish line 300 meters ahead of everyone else. The crowd was silent for a moment. Then Class 3C erupted in cheers. They had won. For the first time in Academy history, Class 3C had won the athletics competition. Was surrounded by her classmates. They lifted her onto their shoulders, careful of her weight, was cheering, was vibrating with joy. Evan's crystal body glowed brighter than ever. Instructor approached her after the celebration began to calm. Her bioluminescent skin was soft and warm. "I owe you an apology," said. "When you first arrived, I was afraid of you. I thought you were dangerous." "I understood," said. "Humans have a scary reputation." "But I was wrong. You are not dangerous to us. You are dangerous for us. There is a difference." Smiled. This time she let her teeth show just a little. Did not flinch. That evening, sat in the recreation zone with her friends. The lights of the station dimmed to simulate nighttime. Stars shone through the transparent walls. Asked her to tell another Earth horror story. This had become their tradition. Would describe normal Earth things, and everyone would pretend to be terrified. "On Earth," said in a dramatic voice, "there is a season called winter. During this time, water falls from the sky in solid form. It is called snow. It covers everything in white." "Frozen death water," whispered, "terrifying." "And humans have a tradition where they go outside in this frozen death water and throw balls of it at each other. For fun." "Your species is insane," said, but his voice was warm with affection. Leaned against his arm. This was a sign of trust in culture. A few months ago, he would have been too scared to come near her. "I am glad you are here," he said quietly, "even if you are terrifying." Put her arm around him gently, careful of her strength. "Thanks, I am glad I am here too." In his office across the station, Administrator was filing a report to the Galactic Council. His 4 hands typed quickly on multiple keyboards. Integration status: successful. Human Student Park has integrated well with Class 3C. Recommend continued human enrollment at Galactic Unity Academy. He paused and added a note at the bottom. Additional recommendation: increase gymnasium structural reinforcement. The human has started teaching the other students something called jumping jacks. Several ceiling panels have been damaged. Also, request additional cleaning supplies. The students are now attempting something called a pizza party, and there is cheese everywhere. He sent the report and leaned back in his chair. Humans were strange creatures, dangerous and gentle, terrifying and kind. Perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy needed. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine. And somewhere in the recreation zone, a human girl sat with her alien friends, telling stories about a strange blue planet called Earth. She was home,